Chapter 12, 74. Fighting Rank 8 in the River. Translator, Atlas Studios. Editor, Atlas Studios. If possible, Fang Yuan wanted to use Affection Immortal Goo to trade for Immortal Goo that suited him more. But in Reverse Flow River, transactions were impossible. Because no goo worms could be used, information path methods that allowed two parties to engage in transactions were unusable. Fang Yuan wanted to exchange for Immortal Goo, but Bi Chen-chun could not take out any Immortal Goo, because goo worms hibernated while inside Reverse Flow River, let alone those in an immortal aperture. They would not respond to any of a goo immortal summons, even if they were inside their bodies. Thus, Bi Chen-chun did not have any chips to use for trade. Bi Chen-chun knew Fang Yuan's concern, but should he give up this chance and wait for the future? Who knew what would happen in the future? After Black Extremity's action, Snowy Mountain Blessed Land was gone. Central Continent's Edge Link camp was destroyed as well. If Central Continent's group fought again, they would fall into an even deeper disadvantage. Central Continent's Goo Immortals were barely able to defend themselves once they escaped Reverse Flow River. Wouldn't they flee immediately? Thus, there was no chance to undergo trade with Fang Yuan. If they did not do the transaction now, what about in the future? Fang Yuan was a Northern Plains Goo Immortal, while Bi Chen-chun was a Central Continent Goo Immortal. Both were in different regions. Even in Treasure Yellow Heaven, Central Continent could not dictate Fang Yuan to do a transaction with them later. What if he made a deal with someone else? What if he raised prices to an absurd level without fear? There were worse situations possible. Bi Chen-chun was someone with the foresight to consider bad outcomes in advance. Seeing that he could not coax Fang Yuan to give the Immortal Goo, his killing intent rose. I am a Rank 8 Goo Immortal, even if I cannot use Immortal Goo here with my Dao Mark Foundation. How can I lose to a Rank 7 Goo Immortal? Thinking like this, Bi Chen-chun jumped into the river water and swam towards Fang Yuan. At this moment, his hostility was obvious. Fang Yuan sneered internally as he charged towards Bi Chen-chun as well. Bi Chen-chun saw this and became joyful, thinking, "This Northern Plains Goo Immortal looks like a battle maniac. He's simply brainless." The river water moved rapidly, but both parties had extraordinary bodies. They quickly met in the middle. Boom, boom, boom! Fang Yuan raised his fist and punched at Bi Chen-chun thrice. Bi Chen-chun was a Woodpath Goo Immortal. He had great stamina and eyesight. He blocked all three attacks. He was shocked. This person looks so young. How can he have such strength? Does he cultivate Strength Path? He felt that his arm was numb from blocking. But while he was shocked, Bi Chen-chun still retaliated with his other hand. Both sides exchanged fists. They quickly got into a scuffle. Fang Yuan's entire body was a weapon. His head, knee, elbow, and all sorts of jabs were used. Bi Chen-chun was on the back foot, but soon he held up evenly against Fang Yuan's attacks. Because he had incredible foundation, and his close combat skills were very deep. Even though he had rarely used these techniques after becoming a Goo Immortal, currently in actual battle, he was recovering his combat skills. As for Fang Yuan, he had become a Goo Immortal. More recently, many years ago, he was a mortal Goo master roaming Northern Plains and Southern Border. He was familiar with close combat. The two fought in the water. At times, they lifted their heads above the water and breathed roughly, temporarily resting. Reverse Flow River moved rapidly. Most of their energy was spent in swimming. They did not actually fight too much. When they fought, the environment was very complex. Because at times, logs or wild beasts would float down the river and force the two to evade them. As a result, after tens of rounds of battle, both sides were breathing roughly, but they could do nothing to the other party. This Rank 8 Goo Immortal is truly deep in foundation. I wanted to kill a Rank 8 in Reverse Flow River, but now it seems to be wishful thinking. Bi Chen-chun, however, was filled with shock. How can this be? This person is on par with me. I have used Grass Python Immortal Goo previously to gain a huge amount of strength. I have also used Immortal Killer Move wood armor to carve down marks in my body. My body has naturally strong defenses. I even turned my heart into a wood heart and turned my blood into green blood, giving me super healing abilities. These Immortal Killer moves in Immortal Goo, along with my Dao marks as a rank 8 Goo Immortal, who has so many calamities and tribulations, I definitely outclass this rank 7. But why am I simply evenly matched with him? Bichen Tian stared at Fang Yuan as if he was looking at a monster. Speaking of which, Fang Yuan did not have as many Dao marks as the rank 8 Bichen Tian, but in fact his Dao mark accumulation surpassed most rank 7 Goo Immortals, even though he only became a rank 7 Goo Immortal recently. What resisted Bichen Tian was the Sovereign Immortal Body. The Sovereign Immortal Body was not a normal human body. It was refined from a Goo worm. Be it Wei Ling Yang or Bichen Tian, they were humans. But Fang Yuan's body was made from a Goo worm. It could therefore be said that Fang Yuan being a complete otherworldly demon was one of the reasons. The Sovereign Immortal Body made up for the difference in Dao marks between him and Bichen Tian, allowing them to fight evenly. Fang Yuan decided to retreat. Even though he did not lose, his intention was to kill the huge threat, Ying Wuxi. Earlier, when fighting with Bichen Tian, he wanted to test his strength, to see if he could kill a rank 8 Goo Immortal. But in fact, Fang Yuan was overly optimistic. He could do nothing to Bichen Tian. Fang Yuan had to give up. He did not want to stall it out with Bichen Tian. His objective had not been met yet. Fang Yuan wanted to leave, but Bichen Tian did not allow him to. Even though Bichen Tian could not do anything to Fang Yuan, Affection Immortal Goo was still with Fang Yuan. Even if I cannot win, I need to keep him here. If my companions come later, we can encircle him together. I cannot let him escape. Damn it, this guy! Fang Yuan quickly frowned. He wanted to retreat, but Bichen Tian's speed and strength were not inferior to his. Even though Fang Yuan wanted to leave, Bichen Tian was preventing him from doing so. This gravely affected Fang Yuan's plan. In that case, don't blame me for being ruthless. Fang Yuan's eyes flashed with cold light. Obstructed by the wild beast corpse ahead, Fang Yuan's speed fell and Bichen Tian reached him again. Fang Yuan turned around to fight him. Both were fighting with their fists and legs in reverse flow river. It was a draw at the crucial moment. Fang Yuan stretched out his arm and placed Affection Immortal Goo in front of himself. Bichen Tian wanted to punch at Fang Yuan's torso. If he hit, Fang Yuan would lose his oxygen supply and would need to go to the surface and breathe in fresh air. This was one of the key points of fighting underwater. But Fang Yuan suddenly took out Affection Immortal Goo and put it in front of Bichen Tian's fist. Bichen Tian turned pale from shock. He quickly pulled back his fist and revealed a flaw. Fang Yuan laughed coldly on the inside. He used this flaw and charged. Bichen Tian had made a mistake and could only block and defend himself, preparing to counterattack. But Fang Yuan suddenly raised Affection Immortal Goo in front of himself, causing Bichen Tian to be unable to attack and exposing a flaw. With two flaws exposed, Fang Yuan made use of his advantage and kicked at Bichen Tian's stomach. Bichen Tian was hit and immediately opened his mouth as air bubbles floated up. He did not have enough oxygen now. He changed his tactics and wanted to escape to the surface. But Fang Yuan did not allow this. He stretched out his arms and gripped with them like pincers, pulling Bichen Tian and preventing him from reaching the surface. Bichen Tian suddenly twisted his waist and escaped with a difficult maneuver. He moved like a fish, bursting out with strength. Fang Yuan's left arm could not catch him. Fang Yuan praised on the inside towards this response. Bichen Tian was a Central Continent Goo Immortal, but his rank 8 foundation really held no weaknesses. In terms of fighting underwater, he even slightly surpassed Fang Yuan. There was a need to mention Fang Yuan had lived in Eastern Sea for a long time during the 500 years of his previous life. This way, Bichen Tian instantly swam until he was on top of Fang Yuan